the notion that Hindi is the national language of India is false.
Yeah.
The imposition of Hindi is a problem. English is there, Kannada is there. Why is Hindi there? Pandit Nehru once in Parliament said that Kashmir is a unique culture. And for them to preserve it, you need to put restrictions on. Otherwise, people from outside will come and spoil the culture. Do we identify ourselves as Indians or not? Why should the strong care for the weak? This is the Krishna moment. This is the Krishna dilemma we always have. I cannot think of professional theatre. I wouldn't do that kind of professional theatre. In India, I'll not do.
That makes no sense.
I don't want to participate in a conversation.
Hi, this podcast is with Prakash Belawadi, actor, director, social activist, a man with voice, thoughts, experience and observation. He talks about the Krishna Moment, about what Bangalore is going through, what the youth experiences, which is not very different from what he did and what youth experiences today, and why Hindi is not the national language. So I hope you enjoy it. Keep floating with the fish.
You come out of a movie theater, you have to walk through bright lights and the camera is there and somebody's got a microphone which is thrust into your face and you have to say something. Can you say, no, it was a piece of shit? So what you have to do, look,
you have to say something
what happens to your self-respect, You have to say, yeah, I enjoyed it or something. I say, God, why do they ask me these questions when you go away? You do. Why are we behaving like that?
Why can't we just say what it is?
No, why don't we say, I don't want to talk about it?
That's also an option.
It's a good option, I want to see if I can dare to do it. That's the only correct thing to do, by the way, I mean, say,
versus saying that it was not a good movie.
I have done it once in a theater, in a festival. After every play, all the doors are shut. There's audience have to react. There's a question answer thing. I once stood up and said, I would like to ruminate, digest the work I saw. I don't want to participate in a conversation. The play, has made an impact on me, and I would like to reconcile with it. Think about what is it in it that affects me in this way. So I don't want to talk about it.
That's so beautiful.
I said, and they were forced to open the door, and I left. And somebody came and told me, no, sometimes you're too direct. It's very hard to be free.
To stand.
Yeah.
But what makes you this free?
See, I get very hurt by rejection. If I do a play and I get a bad review, I get very hurt. But I tell myself again and again, that I'll just do it again and see if I can do it better. And I don't have to agree with everything that the reviewer said. I tell myself that. Because you must, that is agency. It is something to fight for and keep. It is not something that is granted to you. You fight for agency, to be free, to say what you want.
Have you always been like that?
Maybe from the time I was 14 or 15. I can't remember if I was like that before. But I remember at 14 or 15, I had the courage to rebel against authority for the first time.
And the consequences were?
Well, I think it was kind of brutal because, you get rejected, when you defy authority. Yeah. But I think it was for the better. It was an early preparation, I feel, Yeah.
So how did you face then? Because you were so young. And the first is always the first.
No, but I made a lot of mistakes because of that, out of anger, or to trying to prove a point. I don't think I became I'm even now a full mature being, but till I was 40 years old, I was like really quite ridiculously immature. I would just argue about everything, say stuff that I didn't mean, and but I never lacked the courage to say I'm sorry or I was wrong. I never backed away.
When you realized it.
Yeah.
And that rebel was coming from anger or righteousness?
No, righteousness was there, maybe in school or something.
Certain age it comes.
But I didn't have. I had anger about irresponsible power. Actually, power is given to you as authority only. You are authorized to do something. Your power is not inherent. So for a long time, the immaturity was because I thought whether personally you could acquire power without even giving it to you. Actually, the answer is you can, and you should be careful not to get it. That is the answer I find I think now.
You're saying one can acquire power.
You can acquire power, but you must always reject it and use it as responsibility. I feel that is the answer I tell myself now, but I'm 64 now. It took a long time to get here for me. Yeah.
So when you were being angry or whichever way you were trying to express, were you trying to gather that power?
No, I would like to say that by acting at that moment, I have gained power. Okay. That's what I would do. Actually, it's foolish. I will say if my father said it's my house, then I'll think, I'll never be in this house. I'll think like that. If a teacher threatens, that you'll not get good marks,
I'll not come to class.
Then I'll say I won't take the test at all. Like that,
I really feel this first 10 years of a life, of course, we all know it, that becomes the foundation of who we are. Yeah. Till we actually get it, get life in our control. And those 10 years of a life are, again, like we said, we don't have a choice. We are like sum total of whatever is happening around us and how we interpret it. That how we interpret it is the Krishna moment that we talked about.
Because power instills fear.
Yeah.
Okay, power gets compliance by the fear of punishment. Okay, authority gets compliance with respect. Yeah. You agree with what is being told to you.
Because it's being said by someone that you think is right by the authority they have.
Yeah. So like in this sense, you should study. And you feel guilty when authority tells you should study. When power tells you should work harder. You hate it, but you just put your head down because you're afraid. So I'm saying when a guru tells you you've not done well in maths, you feel like crying. Not because you're afraid of the guru. You're afraid of the judgment he has made because you feel you failed yourself, Not just you failed him.
Yeah.
Right? So, but
that's the difference.
But with power, it's not the same thing. Somebody is unjust. Most times, power is unjust. So you'll think, what you said, what you're doing is not correct. You think, but you can't do anything about it.
And that just builds up.
That helplessness makes you act wildly and irresponsibly.
Yeah, and one could do anything in that moment.
You'll do stupid things. You get drunk.
Yeah.
You should come home at 7 o'clock. And I'll come home at 2:30 in the morning.
Do what you can. Yeah, that arrogance. Courage, sir, comes when we are fearful. When are we courageous? When it's life and death or when it's enlightenment?
We certainly, in a movie, because time is running out. Movies or dramas are stories told in time. Before time finishes, you should tell the story. And in the story also, time is a problem for the protagonist, because if you do not solve the problem that is there, somebody stands up against what seems to be an impossible task, the underdog, and fights. And, but struggles and struggles and struggles, and before it's too late, he or she needs to solve it. So they will take risks they could not have taken before. They'll leap across buildings. They'll speed more than they would have ever done. You know, they will run across a railway coming train, you know, missing by hair's breadth. They do all this because, you know, time is running out. Unless they do it in time, it'll go away. We are at such a juncture, you know, with climate change, you know, and the way the world is with global politics now. If we do not do something to secure ourselves fully, and everyone should participate in that story. If we don't do that, if we are divided like this, always by caste, language, sub-language, sub-regionalism, you know, look at the
divide. Anybody can divide us as much.
Yeah. So if we are like that, we will fail this test. You know, we'll fail this. If you look at the operational morality of the world, of the civilized world, it seems that the rich have a duty to look after the poor.
Yeah.
The strong have a duty to look after the weak. The majority has a duty to look after the minority. You know?
Yeah.
It's there. But why should the strong care for the weak? Why should it?
उनको क्यों पड़ी है?
Why? And you know, after many kind of iterations on this question, initially you used to offer this, why should they care? Why should they care? I would say as an argument.
You would say.
To others. But when I ask myself that, I'll think, why? Why should you care? You know, you care because you've learned to love others. You know, and love is not what you seek. You know, love is what you need to give, actually.
Yes.
And where do you learn that? You learn that in the family. Because sacrifice is a kind of everyday affair in a family.
Yeah.
You know, in a poor family, which is what India is. India is a poor family. You know, the mother looks after.
Sacrificing everything.
She may not eat, but she'll feed the child. And she'll feed differentially. You know, if there's a pregnant girl, she'll get more attention, better food.
Yeah.
If there is a strong boy, he'll have to work harder than the weaker son.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
if there's a dull, child, you know, you ask the, more intelligent child to look after the dull child.
Yeah.
You know? So, you know, there is no socialism or Marxism that is equal to this. It is as casual, casual and human. Mothers do, in the animal world, do it, but just up to a point till it's able to walk, and be on its own. Humans
can't do it forever.
Like that. The weak in the litter will be eaten by the mother.
Yeah. Right? Humans can't do that.
Yeah, we can't do that. We look after. There is something that separates us from animals, right? So we are that. And that nature to give comes to you when you look at that one as your own, which is what a mother does.
Yeah.
And we do it, we extend that to friends in a group, and you extend that to neighbors in a good neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you extend it to your citizens, fellow citizens in a town or a city. And where the disconnect begins, the horror begins also. Till then,
it's all good.
During COVID, we got great acts of bravery, great heroism we saw, right?
Yeah.
So
we know that it's possible.
Yeah.
It's not completely died.
No, it's just there. We need the skin, I think.
Yeah.
We need trust again. If we can trust each other again, it'll all come back, I think. But what we lack is trust. We don't understand the politician's intent. So I'm saying, what is the education we have? The indigenous education that was there, when we got angry with it, we threw the baby out with the bathwater, There was many things good in it. We should have kept it. And what was not good, we have changed. We have outlawed, child marriage. We have outlawed the dowry demand. We have outlawed, untouchability. We have outlawed, multiple marriages, at least for the Hindu system. I'm saying we have tried to address it in a civilized way, but I don't think we have enough courage to go the whole hog.
So since you come from a family of artists and obviously famous artists, has growing up in that space been, would you call it a privilege? Would you call it punishment?
No, I would say, like, I have known nothing to compare it with. I don't know how well or not so well other families are. But there were good times and there were not so good times. And I will say, having looked at systems, I will say that the family is the only safe zone that you have, the caring zone that you have. And when families get into the material zone, so property dispute and all that can happen because of that, because when you're growing up, you're not looking at, you may say my property as, a glass. My sister would cry if I drank from her steel glass, Like that, that is all your sense of property. It's like a toy, a pet possession. It is not actually like,
something very deep.
My space, it has other value. What is land? It has other value. When you're young, a house, you don't see its value in material terms. A house is value because you live there. But what you're not looking at it now, that it's changed. When your parents die or they're too old and you come into the
authority,
into a position where you say, I have right over this property, then the right over the property, dominates the love of being inside that. We were being together was the family. We own shares of this, becomes like a business arrangement, and that is the one that destroys love and bonding and generosity and giving inside a family. And which is why the joint family system, a patriarch or a matriarch in the family, where when there are disputes, they go in front of and she says, okay, you can stay, you can use that room. Okay? Don't disturb
this one.
Again, let him study in that room. And be respectful to your, uncle or elder brother. Somebody says like that. It's a system of one side gets all justice. It's
just
not.
Subscribe to them.
It's not one side gets all. It's a compromise that is declared. It may be fair, not fair, but the intent of the person giving, is seen as fair. Even if at the moment you don't accept it, you abide by it. Because I feel like that idea of the village panchayat, where the elders are there, they live there, they go through the seasons together, the hardships together, the village festival together, they worship the same deity in the village, That panchayat system should have been rectified, and not this court system, which is a failed idea, where they're doing esoteric judgments, whether, menstruating woman can go to that temple or not. I think it should be decided in that local community. How can I feel
national courts be doing something like that?
Things, so many things that are not attended to. So I feel we should have decentralization. That's a great solution to many of these things. You can preserve each local culture. Okay, and you have a regulatory thing on saying you don't exceed a limit. Where somebody's dignity gets compromised. That should be the question. You don't compromise somebody's dignity. And if there is a question like that, where your dignity is offended, or you've been cheated, in a contract, then you want to take it outside and appeal
to a higher court.
To these courts you do. Otherwise, most of these matters should be settled locally.
But even then, when the panchayat used to be, I feel the people were very different. Like, it's all about the thought process, the intent, where it's coming from.
Also, interdependencies. There is a village, you can't do too much. You can't. How many excesses can you do?
Yeah. You also live in the same system.
Yeah.
The judge who takes completely crazy decisions has got nothing to do with the beneficiaries after that moment, so they can just take like a random decision and cut themselves off from it. They have no connection. But a panchayat community has to live, they share the same village.
So whatever caste oppression, for instance, was there, let us say, a higher authority, should be able to rule and say, all natural resources can be shared by everybody. Nobody can claim to have right over any natural resource. So a river or a well or something, untouchability, that kind of thing should have been there. A kind of hybrid thing should have been there. This entirely removing one system and bringing some other system to which no poor person has any access.
Which, it actually separates more people out of the system instead of inclusion.
Sure.
But talking about inclusion, Bangalore is a very good example of that. I came here first time in the year 2001. 24 years back, of course, it was completely a different city. To what people like us, immigrants from different places, have added to the chaos and confusion. In the name of inclusion, we've actually destroyed most of it, most of the culture, tradition.
Do you know Pandit Nehru once in Parliament said that Kashmir is a unique culture. And, for them to preserve it, you need to put restrictions on outsiders coming there. And he said, which is why you should give them special, provision. You make special provisions. Otherwise, rich people from outside will come and buy the land and spoil the culture. It's not just Kashmir. Every culture is precious, right? For centuries, Bangalore has included,
Yes.
It was founded by, from the ground, Kempegowda, the founder, brought communities from 22 communities from everywhere, traders, the Tigala community, people, gardeners, and they came and they became Bangalorean. In waves they have come. When the public sector came, they came Bangalorean. They didn't learn Kannada maybe, but some resentment was there. We grumbled and all that, but we didn't mind. But it has become aggressive now.
Yes.
And the docile nature of Kannadigas is being tested.
Yes.
And the people who are getting really angry are really not so many local people who were born here as Kannadigas from outside Karnataka. Look at them. They come here for jobs just like others come. And they don't see Bangalore as their own. They come here and for their festivals and all, they just go back because we live
because
there.
Home is there.
For everybody, home is elsewhere, They are the ones who are being more and more aggressive. They come from outside and they say like, how can you behave like this in our state? Speak our language. Okay, they are the ones who are asking. The notion that Hindi is the national language of India is, firstly, it's false.
Yeah.
The second is that it is not a welcome idea. It is there in the constitution, not as national language, but as the official language. But the imposition of Hindi is a constitutional mandate on government, on the central government. Article 343 to 351. I think that should be amended. If it's not going to be amended, from South India, let me tell you, okay? It's already started in Maharashtra. It was always there in Tamil, okay? It is going to start in Karnataka for sure.
But what will get solved? I just want to be a fly on the wall on this topic and not having any opinion. But what will solve this? Now, suppose Tamil Nadu has been asking for it. That's very clear. Karnataka would ask, Bengal would ask, this one would ask, So what is the solution is that, okay, in Karnataka, the prevalent language or at least a parallel
well enough, rich enough use of Kannada should be practiced. In Tamil Nadu, Tamil should be practiced, right? So basically a Hindi or an English, or at least a Hindi, should not overrule it. That's the whole thing, that the center should not impose. Okay.
If it happens by itself and Hindi is adopted by people, a lot of English is adopted in South
English
India.
is adopted by the people only.
By South India.
Yeah.
If that happens, no. The imposition of Hindi is a problem. Whatever organically evolves, okay, should be worked, or resisted organically. You make more popular Kannada cinema, you make more popular Kannada theatre, you do more popular Kannada songs.
That's fine.
You create your own A.R. Rahman, you get your own Sonu Nigam, like we got, the guy Vijay Prakash, who got the Grammy or whatever.
Yeah.
So, you do that. That's the way to do. Where government and government get involved, it becomes messy. It's messy because it's not decentralized. You cannot impose language policy from Delhi and from Bangalore, I will say. See, this is unpopular, I will say. Among Kannadigas also, what I'll say now is unpopular. From Bangalore, you cannot impose, language policy on the districts. There are many native languages in Karnataka. Should let them thrive. They have a right to be here.
Starting with theatre, children are now, in today's time, coming back to theatre, which in my growing up time, I had almost seen it getting lost. Like there was nobody taking us to the theatres. There wasn't much getting made for children per se, but this is coming back. Do you see that being on the other side of the fence, that theatre is growing? It's becoming more for the audience now. Theatre makers, theatre directors are creating, writing for the newer audience, or that's not how it is?
To say that theatre is growing is difficult for me when I'm sitting in Bangalore and, saying that we don't have truly a professional theatre practice here. Which means a professional theatre will become possible if you can get a guarantee of say 1 million people watching a show, or if not 1 million, at least 500,000 watch the show. Then you can do 100 shows or 200 shows, and you can expect that you can pay actors and crew who make it possible. But I don't think such a possibility in Bangalore yet. Okay, it may happen someday, I don't know, but it's not there yet. Okay, and I would like to professionalize the theatre as much as possible, in the sense of having tighter controls on rehearsals, rehearsal time, and possibly doing more shows. Streamlining the production in some sense, investing money correctly and all that. But with all that, say I have a show that is running now, and which is probably very successful compared to almost anything else that I have done. This is the Kannada version of a play called Parva, which is an adaptation of a novel by Dr. S.L. Bhyrappa, who is probably one of India's greatest living writers. He's 94 now, but and he's. We did a production of this for Mysore just before COVID, and even after COVID, there were shows that toured a lot, and they did 57 shows. The Mysore repertory, I adapted and directed the show for them. But after that, once this stopped, I did a Kannada English translation of it. And I did 8 shows of that in Bangalore.
This Bhishma knows no fear. Let this be clear to all. But it does not behove the dignity of Bhishma to accept the challenge from a eunuch. I hereby resign from the post of Senapati. Sarathi, turn my chariot around.
And then I'm doing the Kannada version again with my own group, Center for Film and Drama.
Yeah.
So we have done 5 shows of that. And we sold 5,000 tickets for those 5 shows.
It's a 10.5-hour show.
We sold 5,000. We had to reimburse for some 500 or 600 cancellations, because the first day we cancelled, we had some sound issues and we cancelled, and we did a compensatory show. But that was on a Monday. All day, everyone couldn't come on a Monday. So about 600 people cancelled. So otherwise we had sold actually 5,000 tickets. But maybe 4,000, some new people came.
Yeah.
So about 4,500 tickets we sold.
That's incredible. Not even a 1-hour play gets that kind of...
At 1,200 rupees, which is our subsidized rate. I don't want to lose this. So beyond a point, I cannot think of professional theatre. I wouldn't do that kind of professional theatre. I act in professional theatre abroad, in Australia, okay? But I myself will not do professional theatre in that sense,
Here.
Yeah. In India, I'll not do.
Because you rather preserve
I'd rather
and work
have
on...
freedom of choosing work that is challenging, and people do it for passion. They'll dedicate their time without looking for money. They'll dedicate their time to enable such a thing. Only then we can explore into really, I do Michael Frayn's Copenhagen. We have done maybe 60, 70 shows of that. Just 3 hours of science and philosophy and politics. Like, who will watch it, you'll think. But we do that play and people come and watch. So there's a precious audience there, and...
So that part is not true when we hear that if you make intelligent work, then audience is not there.
There is, for theatre at least, only if you do intelligent work, there'll be audience.
Yeah.
I would say most times,
And in today's time of on-demand OTT content, if you...
For them to, to drive through Indian cities in the evening after work, to come and sit and watch a play,
it better be outstanding.
That for them to invest that kind of passion, and for us to do a 10-hour engagement, and for people to come and sit there, and we have done 70 shows of that. I don't know. I have no words to describe this.
I was trying to find the right way to ask you about, why do you do it and how do you do it? But I honestly am not able to frame this question also, because I've not heard of anything like that. I can't imagine as an audience also, while I'm there in almost every play that I can get myself to, but I can't imagine an audience, and you were saying house full, kind of an audience sitting there for 8-10 hours.
See,
wow.
There are 2 aspects to consider. There are 600,000 villages of India. Maybe less now, because urban spaces have encroached upon villages and swallowed them. Some, at least 5.5 lakh villages are there, So in those 500,000 villages, they will do in their annual village festival that they do for the deity of the village. They'll do some version of the epics, Ramayana or Mahabharat. They'll do their own version of it. They may valorize, a marginal character even, when they do it. So those plays are all night. In Karnataka itself, we have many forms, Duddata, Sannata, Krishna Parijata, Yakshagana Talamaddale, and so on, Those are all-night performances, okay?
They are.
Now, they're all-night performances. In Kudiyatam, in Kerala, for instance, the show is for 5 days. They do Abhignana Shakuntalam over 5 days, So, this is normal for Bharata. It's not so normal for modern India, which is Western informed, okay? But for normal India, ancient India, cultural India, the long form play is performance is normal. The second thing is, look, it's a lot more engaging and informative than watching a stupid cricket match.
Absolutely.
for 4 hours, 5 hours, all day.
Yeah.
I mean, I like cricket, and I'm willing to watch it for, say, invest 5 days in a year for it, maximum, or a week in a year for it. I can watch it at 200 days a year.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, like, brain fading kind of activity it is. And if they can watch that, they can watch this. Actually, they should try this.
Yeah.
For their own mental health, maybe they should come and watch theatre, I would say. So, but look, I've no great anger or quarrel about this, because we have done 70 shows.
That's what.
I would like to
Been there, done that.
Yeah. So like, the people are there.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's like the smile that you get of like there's nothing to prove anymore.
Yeah.
It's proven. 70 shows of Prava, of this kind of expectation from the audience and the cast.
Yeah.
I think the tone is set.
Yeah.
Superb.
Exactly. There's nothing to prove.
Prove now, yeah.
The only challenge now is to be better than before. That's it. That's the challenge.
Be consistent.
No, better than before.
That, yeah.
Because the audience is much better. They're very forgiving and very encouraging. But we're not as good as them yet.
What did you learn in the making of Prava from the story itself?
It's Parva. It's from the
Parva.
It's from the Mahabharat.
Yeah.
The Adi Parva.
Oh, from the Adi Parva. Okay.
Like that.
But is it like literally that?
The chapters of the Mahabharat are called Parvas.
Huh.
So, yeah.
So like what part? So is it like exactly what is being said in Mahabharata?
The author himself in for the novel, he says, it is 20% the Mahabharata, but 80% my imagination.
Okay.
So, this is Indian tradition to do your own version of the
story. Yeah.
You use the story as the pretext, and then you do your own text. There is no miracle. Krishna is not a god. He does not do any miracle.
Okay.
He does not come and rescue Draupadi, when she is being humiliated.
Okay.
In the Sabha. But Krishna is a great inspirational figure, because Krishna speaks sense. And Krishna has the sensibility of understanding two sides of the story. So he becomes an inspirational figure like that. Like, he inspires people and offers them, a chance to pick the right side.
Giving both perspectives.
It's not, when you say the right side, it's not picking the right party, the right side of any argument,
And that you can only do when you have both sides?
No, when you know what is right. Because, the idea is that there is only one right thing to act upon. You can say there are many, shades of grey and all that, but action is a binary of 1 or 0. That means, will you do it or will you not do it? And the idea of knowing what is the right thing to do is the idea that Krishna is, And we can't do it. It's too tough. Although, you can just decide to do it. Like, say, I once decided I'll give up the mobile phone. Okay? Now think about it. Is it so hard to live without a mobile phone? Don't have to answer it,
Yeah.
It's a question to think about.
Sure.
But I can't give it up. And I know that my life will be better if I give up the mobile phone. This is the Krishna moment. This is the Krishna dilemma we always have. Will you do it or won't you do it? It's not that there are many options in between on action. I'll give my phone to, my assistant. My assistant will answer. I'll have 2 phones, only one for emergencies, the other for family. You can do all these kinds of things. That's not shades of grey. They're really not options of 1 or 0. The action is just one thing. Can you give it up?
Or not.
Yeah.
And you just choose with one of them.
Usually we choose the wrong side.
And why is that?
Because, we are trained by the society we live in, by fashion, by trends, by peer pressure, by early inculcation of wrong ideas. You think it's better to build a compound wall around your house than live in a community. Why do we do that? Why in a large apartment complex, when you're sharing, the plumbing, why is it that, you cannot have a giant, like a clubhouse, why can't you have, say, 6 kitchens where people
Community.
can just come and cook
Together.
themselves, whether they're together or not.
Or
Why
one
should
common
every
place.
house have, a kitchen?
kitchen.
For instance, if you think like that, if you say, no, people like to cook and all that, actually it's not true. If you're young and living in a city, maybe you don't want to cook, Maybe you want to cook.
Which is
only-
evident with the amount of
Yeah.
eating out options open.
So there are all kinds of things. But, why do we use cars in such a blighted city, for traffic? Why do we do that? We do that because we're trained to be like this.
Why? Why do we know it? You also know it, I also know it, and million of us also know it. Then what happens that we are not able to go by our own logics or understanding and still flow with all of that?
See, how many of us have the courage of self-validation? What I'm saying is, we're constantly looking for praise. I'll do this podcast, and if somebody watches it, I'm always scared to watch what I've said, because I'll just say it as soon as you ask on the spur, whatever occurs to me, I say.
Yeah.
And, sometimes I got into big trouble because of it. But, sometimes I've been wrong. That's why. So what happens is, you always depend on some kind of validation. And increasingly, it's not even qualitative validation.
It's just there.
No,
Random.
it's quantitative. What happens is, if one great person says your work was good, who knows? It should be enough. A guru should tell us
Yeah.
it was good.
Yeah.
But we are saying, we had 1.7 million likes. Or, we had 4 million views. 4 million idiots may have watched it, The more the number that see it,
It says something.
it is very possible it's very dumb.
Yeah.
People watch anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And is it, considering the time that you've lived, is it the new younger people are coming into the system now? Let's say the people who were in their 60s and 70s have retired now. So if they were coming from the age-old ways of looking at it, they are retired and newer lot is there. Are you seeing a change of the new generation bringing the transformation, dharma, empathy, what the young people deserve, what as a young father, mother are doing for our children, or in power we're all the same regardless?
No, I think young people, if they've got a secure life, a house with a compound wall, and their own room perhaps, and they've made it to college and they've got a degree, post-graduation, and further perhaps, then I think they're actually looking at what they want to explore and, what they're interested in, kind of thing. I feel they're autonomous creatures with self-will, and they're free agents and they can do what they like. That's what I think they think. Whether they're good or bad does not matter. I think that's what they think. But I think it is fallacious and, frankly, quite stupid because, the clothes they wear, the food they eat has made them healthy and good, and we are all taller than the previous generation, and young people are taller than we were, we have been, because they got better nutrition. But farmers are committing suicide, okay? And whether the food they grow is less expensive, should be less expensive than, say, the mobile phone you buy. How do you arrive at this, I'm not sure young people are bothered by such questions.
Not bothered.
Now, generally, I think they're not bothered.
Largely not.
Yeah. I think they feel a little bit entitled to the comforts they've got.
I agree.
And they also feel like, they can do what they like. And they can be passionate about
Some things.
narrow stuff.
Some things.
They can make it their own thing and they can own. Young people who are not so privileged, just want to become like them.
Privileged.
They want to become like them, So I feel like there is not much hope that they will work towards fixing anything. I don't think young people are going to look at, I'll not generate waste. I don't think, they'll be so interested in saying, I will use public transport, as a moral, or as an ethical idea, See, the education system is saying, so look at this country. English is there because we don't have registers of knowledge, of science, of chemistry, of physics, of stock market, dispute resolution, law, oceanography, rocket science, computers, AI. We don't have, in Indian languages, these textbooks.
Yeah.
So at least English should be taught as a language, as a idea of priority, because that's only access, the window to knowledge that you have.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. If you can reflect back and tell me that, did we always fail? Were we always like this? Or this whole thing of crumbling down, every department crumbling down and just probably just sucking up for something very menial for their own interest, is this a rather new habit that our growing needs have caused us? Or ऐसे ही हम लोग, हमारा DNA यही है?
See, when you look at the Upanishads, for instance, or you see the insights in the Ramayana or the Mahabharata, you see, I'm not so well read, but say the Mahavakyas, of the Upanishads or the Kathopanishad, for instance, you realize that there was great inquiry into the nature of being, why we are here, and what is matter, and how does the cosmos, the universe operate, and great mathematics, great insights into mathematics, a heliocentric, so the solar system. All this was made by great minds. Okay.
Yeah.
So how did we fail? We didn't fail. Maybe. See, what we have now is a nation state of India. You have historians. With a kind of, whether it's idiocy or deliberate distortion, who will say that, there was no India before the British came,
Come on.
I'm saying, what did Columbus go in search of, There was a cultural idea of a space, there was a desha, in which you could identify this desha as this.
Yeah.
It was there. It was
an identity.
It was called Bharata. And there were many kings and kingdoms and many systems of governance, many cultural practices, many gods, all kinds of things were there.
True.
So there was something there, okay? But what went wrong was when the first outside influences came, they came quite benignly with trade first. But when it became more aggressive, that the trading company decided to own the resource itself, not rather than just bargain, barter and take away. Then there was an occupation and a subjugation, colonization, all that happened. And I would say that what went wrong is we should have known how to resist that. There may have been some innocent collaboration or not so innocent collaboration. And, we got subjugated for a long time. Okay. Now, what has happened to us is, do we identify ourselves as Indians or not? Call it Bharatiya or call it any Hindustani, whatever you want to call it, I don't care. But you identify yourselves. And we'll be that then, whether the British were there, whether the Portuguese were there, whether the French were there, whether, some Seljuk, Turkic people came here and occupied and left, or came, Nadir Shah came, invaded and went, Taimur Langda came, invaded and went. It does not matter, we were there. Some people came and Babur said, take my body away. And if we identify ourselves as that, we should have done something about safeguarding this place that we had. And to a very large extent we did. There is no culture I can think of which has been invaded, especially by Europeans, which has been subjugated and occupied for so long, where the people have retained their original culture,
language,
their belief systems, especially religion. See, to me, polytheism to me is more scientific than monotheism, for instance. I'll say that, if all of creation, if it is by some conscious, omnipresent, being, all of creation is there. Everything created is also sacred.
Yeah.
So to worship a tree, to worship the soil, to worship the water, river, is, to me, makes perfect sense.
Absolutely.
You can see it as provided and you don't know how it was provided. Even then.
But you be grateful to that.
To be grateful to that, to hold it as precious is important to me.
Yeah.
I don't see the idea of a single God having created this. To me, it seems like not so believable, or credible. I'm saying we can look after ourselves. This has been given to us. Whether God did it or God didn't do it, you're here, I'm here. This thing can actually capture sound and you can record it and you can show it somewhere.
Yeah.
All this is here.
Yes.
Yes.
Partly
provided, partly
created
by humans.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah.
And we have to engage with this world. And we can make this a better world by being more responsible.
Yeah.
Because we have the highest minds in Providence. So we have the highest responsibility because we are the biggest consumers of it. I would say this is how it should have been. But we have broken up into this nation state, and we imagine why did we go wrong? Because we stopped being ourselves. There was this great mind thing of where the important thing was jignasa of great inquiry.
Curiosity.
How does the sun move? What is a Sankranti? It has finished its, the sun has finished its revolution. Actually, the earth
has
finished
moved
its
around.
revolution.
Yeah.
And the sun's,
outside of it
changes to you. So all this was great thinking, great mathematics, the invention of zero, how to reckon with things. All this was there. And if in our way we had gone through it, we would have had respect for that kind of inquiry. We wouldn't have adopted the English court, the English classroom. The British court and the British classroom are structures of power. They're not domain experts.
No, not at all.
They're departments of control. Okay?
Yeah.
So India had great rivers and forests before the forest department came. And the forest department was invented by the British to exploit the forest, not to secure it.
Yeah.
It was secured so that the natives could not exploit it. That's all.
While they could.
They would. Okay. So basically these are structures of control. Even when we got our own constitution and we destroyed the village panchayat system and all that, what happened was you removed the power of intra-community arbitration. Because, you could not trust intra-community arbitration because caste was a factor. So if caste was a factor where discrimination is inbuilt, will you remove caste? No, I think there is more caste than
more
before
caste,
now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we are a bunch of contradictions with no original thinking. See, there are the great...
Probably that is why we got ruled for so long.
Even now we are being ruled, I will tell you, because we are ruled culturally, Look at the language I'm speaking in. Look at the implements we use for conversation. Look at the clothes I'm wearing, What is Indian in me anymore, I feel like that. And that is because we should have found our own way of being. We've not done too badly. Like I said, we are the only survivors of this. Where the US, when the Europeans went to the US, they just destroyed anybody who was there. They went to Canada, they destroyed anybody who was there.
Yeah.
When they went to South America, they subjugated them got them converted, and they made them half creatures of themselves.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say
No,
that. It seems racist, but it was violent what they did.
Yeah.
Okay, but they have not been able to do that to that extent with us. So there must have been some resistance. And if you can find the source of that resistance, combine it with some kind of humanity and good sense that humans are one part of the life that exists here.
Yeah.
And maybe even the cockroach has a purpose to exist, to maintain the balance of life on the planet. Maybe we can set an example to the world. But for that, we should have the courage to dismantle these power structures and reshape them into bodies that can be of better use to us. There are 50 million cases pending in Indian courts. Okay, what kind of justice is possible to some poor person in this country? It's a sham,
It's a sham. Yeah.
Yeah.
ये तो बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट सवाल है कि क्या हम एज इंडियंस फील करते हैं. डाउटफुल है. कपड़े हम वो नहीं पहनते, खाना हम काफ़ी हद तक वो नहीं खाते, भाषा भी हमारी डाउटफुल ही है. सो जिन चीज़ों से हम टेक्निकली, टिपिकली, ट्रेडिशनली रिलेट करते थे एज इंडियंस, वो तो सब चेंज हो गया है. तो आज का भारतीय अपने आप को भारतीय कैसे समझता है कि भी नहीं, ये बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है. क्योंकि हम जब लड़ते हैं, हम अपने जब हक मांगते हैं तो एज भारतीय मांगते हैं. भारतीय है क्या? इस कॉन्वर्सेशन को जारी रखिएगा. उसके सपोर्टिंग के लिए हैं 2 और ख़ास पॉडकास्ट हमारे ही चैनल पे. अरिजीत सेन, जो कि बहुत ही अक्लेम्ड आर्टिस्ट हैं, गोवा में रहते हैं और अपनी आर्ट के थ्रू बहुत कुछ कहा है उन्होंने. उनके इस पॉडकास्ट में उनके बचपन से लेके, उनके आर्ट की जर्नी से लेके, उनके पॉलिटिकल इवन पर्सनल व्यूज़ की पूरी एक समरी है. बहुत ही रीजनेबल एंड बहुत ही प्रोफाउंड है. You must listen to that. सेकेंड गेस्ट हैं गौरांग रावल, जो कि यूथ एक्टिविस्ट हैं, अहमदाबाद में रहते हैं, बहुत सारे यंग लोगों के साथ काम करते हैं. जब हम यंग लोगों के साथ काम करते हैं तो कई बार होता है हम थोड़े से सिनिकल हो जाते हैं आफ्टर अ फ्यू ईयर्स, और हम ऐसा बोलने लग जाते हैं कि देखा मैंने कहा था, मुझे तो पता था. इस पॉडकास्ट में उन्होंने एक कलेक्टिव पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू लाए हैं, पेरेंट्स का, टीचर्स का, यंगस्टर्स का और आज के भारत का. सो यू मस्ट लिसन टू इट. आई होप यू एंजॉय. कीप फ्लोटिंग विद द फिश.